hate him. Oh, wait, we're live?
It is November 4th, 2019, the second night of the NXT invasion of the main roster, this time on Monday Night Raw. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan and Raj Giri, here to talk about everything that happened tonight. Brock is looking for Ray. There's going to be a women's triple threat at Survivor Series. The main event tonight, Adam Cole versus Seth Rollins for the NXT Championship. All that and so much more to talk about. The latest in WWE Saudi Arabia news. Let's dive right into it. Matt, how was tonight for you compared to Friday?
I liked it. Oh, to Friday? No. I'm comparing it to Raw versus Raw, you know?
Okay.
Versus last week's episode, this was much better. I enjoyed it. I like the infusion of NXT. I like the stuff with Seth Rollins, as far as nothing he's been doing has been intriguing. And he was even against freaking The Fiend, and I still found him incredibly unintriguing.
Yeah.
He was just the dude that we wanted to see The Fiend beat. Now he's in something I thought was kind of semi-interesting, you know? I think he should go to NXT, you know, the NXT move.
I was kind of hoping tonight. I understand they needed a main event, but man, you want to get people to tune into NXT on Wednesday. Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole is a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching. That's going to be the main one.
I mean, I doubt that's the WWE roster. They're heading to Europe. They got their European tour. Mm-hmm. So SmackDown and Raw, they're taping on Friday. So I don't know if maybe I guess they could do it and leave Seth off the tour. But the impression I got was this was kind of it for Seth and NXT for now. It was just a one-night angle. Because, I mean, he's booked for all the Raw house shows. And he's in the main event.
What? So what? Why can't he do it?
Well, that would mean he's missing Raw next week because they're taping Raw on Friday.
NXT is going to continue to show up.
I don't think so. I mean, I guess they could have some talent because they don't use all NXT talent on the NXT show. So they could have some NXT talent fly to the UK, and that would get them on Raw and SmackDown. But as far as Seth appearing on NXT, I don't see that happening, at least not this week.
Yeah.
I'm sure before Survivor Series we'll get that. Now, this is where it felt like a bit of a replay of Friday, as they said, hey, it worked so well opening up with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman going out there. Let's do that again tonight.
Okay, I thought it was.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman's part's annoying, but Brock running around and bullying people is hilarious because that's shoot Brock. That is shoot Brock Lesnar. When he grabbed the guy by his foot and dragged him out of the car. Dude, I'm serious. This is like how strong he legit is.
But let me ask you. I asked this to Raj off the air, Matt. I want to get your take on this. Rey Mysterio squashed by Samoa Joe in recent months, squashed by Bobby Lashley. Why, after Brock has definitively gotten these wins over Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor, Kofi Kingston, all these other guys, why is Rey Mysterio his great white whale that he's hunting?
Because that happens in life. I mean, that literally does happen in life. There's somebody who's got your number. And what I do like about it is, as small as Ray is, it has been working, in my opinion. I'm never interested in Ray's storylines, ever, because they don't do him right, I thought, when he came back. They treated him terribly with those losses you just said.
Yeah.
They puts him in the hunt and puts him in something meaningful. And because he has so many years of legitimate usage and booking and whatever you want to call it, stuff to make me care about him, whatever that is, emotional investment in him, he can go from zero to hero with me, and I'm very accepting of that because of the years of him being on top, of being a main big star in that company. He could lose 55 times in a row for all I care. Yeah. That next night, I can see him be involved in something important, and I thought they've done a good job with him and Brock because, I mean, he's getting over on him, and I think they've done a good job with it. I believe Ray in his promos too now.
Yeah, I think this is the best feud in a lot of ways that they've done this year. WWE has. I think
surprising, at least, right? Most surprising too.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he beat up his real life son, maybe outside of the Kofi Kingston WrestleMania chase, but this is something you could really get behind Ray, and I think they've done a great job with that. Brock has just done fantastic as this pissed off monster. Ray has been believable in getting in his offense with the chair, and there was a pipe tonight.
Yeah.
And I thought the Paul Heyman promo, it's redundant. He does the same thing as far as Brock doesn't do any talking and Paul does all the talking, but he was really fired up tonight. I thought Paul was really good as well.
He did a good job moving the storylines along as to why they're on Raw, the other stuff going on. Yeah, he did good with that.
Yeah, and making it seem like they really wanted Ray. And when Brock was tossing those fools around in the back, I suspended my disbelief. I was like, I'm scared for Ray.
Yeah.
I mean, if Brock, legit gets his hands on him if he wanted to, he'd squash him like a bug. But I almost can see, and I was telling Glenn this before, normally I'm always picking Brock, but this is one of those rare times where I could see Ray beating Brock. Maybe Dominic interferes, maybe Dominic and Kane interfere, but I could see Ray getting the upset victory and getting the title off of Brock that way for now.
Yep.
And it opens up a ton of possibilities. You could go with Drew and Ray or whoever else.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Heyman further confirming that Brock is on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how it's going to be in the build-up to Survivor Series. 2 weeks from this coming Sunday, so just under 3 weeks away for Survivor Series 2019. It's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio. And, who knows how that's going to turn out. We had Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Charlotte Flair and Natalya. So they were highly putting over the women's match in Saudi Arabia, as they should. Highly putting over Natalya. And Matt, for a match that really could have been 100% defensible as a Natalya showcase, were you surprised how long this match went on, given that it was a non-title match?
Don't care. I loved this finish.
Real quick, we missed one of the highlights.
Oh.
Brock Lesnar, going to the announce table.
Oh, that's right.
Hitting Leo Madden, was getting Dio Madden. Sorry, he was getting in Paul Heyman was getting Jerry Lawler's face. Dio Madden got up to defend him, and then got in Lesnar's face. Lesnar F5'd him through the table. So I thought that was an awesome touch, and just gave that unpredictability feel to the show.
Yes.
Because it is a hell of a strong show. A strong opening.
That's great usage of Brock. What you just said, the unpredictable moments from him that are so believable. Yeah. They draw you in. But with the women's match, was it Kabuki Warriors?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Natalya getting Asuka in a sharpshooter, which I agree, Matt, was fantastic.
What was fantastic was the entire finishing sequence. These girls worked their tails off from everything from when Natalya first, towards the end of the match, put on the sharpshooter, and what's the younger one's name?
Kairi.
Kairi Sane comes in and delivers a nasty code breaker, but Natalya's bump was so impressive. She did a snap bump while still being in the sharpshooter. That is not easy, my friends. That is a very difficult bump she took. Super athletic bump. And then it just led into, what we call one-ups, where everyone just starts hitting their finish on one another. Bop, 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 like that. And from Charlotte hitting the spear on Kairi, to so on and so forth, to where they went into the God dang, sorry folks. What's the other tag team partner's name? I can't believe I'm just asking that. On Kabuki Warriors.
Asuka.
Thank you. Holy crap, I'm getting delirious here. Asuka going into her finisher, right? And I thought that was going to be the finish of the match. As soon as she got into it in her submission, I thought that was going to be the match. And it was a good little swerve, I thought, getting back into the sharpshooter. I like this match a lot. These girls worked their asses off. Charlotte's big boot in the corner from the bottom buckle, I've never seen that before. Us big guys or big wrestlers will take the buckle. Somebody charges in, we simply put up a boot, they eat it. Charlotte did it from her ass on the ground. Like, dude, that's crazy athletic. That means you got crazy long legs. I wish I had thought of that myself because it's different. I don't know if you caught that. It was pretty cool.
I agree. The ending was great. Well, and Raj, so what you were talking about with Dio and with Paul and Brock, that actually happened after this match.
You're right. I'm sorry.
And I think that's part of it. It's the momentum of this. So, Matt, I agree with you that ending sequence was great. There were some great spots, but we were
The champ should have lost, by the way. I don't think that should have happened.
Well, but Natalya can't come off that historic match.
Don't put her in this situation.
Yeah.
They could have
in that situation.
Why didn't they beat any other tag team? Yeah, you know what I hated about this match, and is that they started it with the Kabuki Warriors already in the ring. I don't think they even announced them. They treated them like like a jobber tag team, not your women's tag team champions.
Yes.
And this was a long match. They could have easily gave them an entrance and introduced them as the champion. Even built a little story where backstage where they're refusing to give Natalya and Charlotte a title shot unless they beat them tonight.
It's 1 minute. That's all they would have needed for their entrance. 1.5 minutes tops. They could have shaved that off their match.
Yeah, and by not doing that, you just kind of put it in people's heads that they're not big stars. You give Charlotte her own entrance, you give Natalya her own entrance, and you don't give them one.
I see why they did that. They're both separate stars coming together as a tag team, but I just don't like to tag any champions losing these non-title matches. That is redundant. That continues to happen in this company. It's so annoying. Why have champions at all? They don't mean anything. They suck. They lose more matches than they win unless their title's on the line.
Exactly. Like if there was a story, if there was a story to this match that if Asuka and Kairi Sane lost, then Charlotte and Natalya are the number one contenders, then I could see it. At least it's a story. I'm with you, Matt. I hate when the champions lose, regardless. But
I want to see a stat, Raj. I bet you if we look this up, Raj, fans in the chat room, help us. Maybe Raj, you can figure this out too. I bet is on their website, probably has it. I'm guessing where you check the records of all the TV, not house shows. Those won't count, but the TV, SmackDown or Raw shows, the champions who owns the title, what the records is on TV. I bet you it's 500 or less. I will bet.
Probably right.
If you're not getting an entrance, Raj,
except Brock, take him out of that.
Well, Brock never wrestles on TV anyway, other than pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah, true.
Except for the one time you beat Kofi. But yeah, I agree. You make them look weak from the beginning. I felt like the result was obvious from the beginning when they didn't even get an entrance.
Yeah.
And then it was a very long match for a match with no stakes. And they didn't make it seem like a big deal that Charlotte and Natalya got the victory either.
I like Asuka's new look. I liked what she's doing.
With the makeup, that's awesome.
That's cool.
No, I think Asuka and Kairi are killing it. They're coming off. It was last week when they nailed Paige, right? Or was that 2 weeks ago?
Ooh, last week.
So they're coming off that hot angle, and then just they're out here. I don't know. That really bugged me.
Yeah, that's annoying.
I would guesstimate that we're gonna get at Survivor Series Charlotte and Natalya versus Kairi and Asuka. Maybe with Tegan and Dakota from NXT, and maybe even Mandy and Sonya from SmackDown.
As a Survivor Series style match? Or
four-way, because it's a cross-brand with the women's tag, right? So
a four-way tag team match, you mean?
Yeah, four-way women's tag.
I could see that.
Seems like it would make sense. Our fans are awesome, by the way. I have to share. Very quick. They're very fast.
They are very fast. That's impressive.
Remarkably fast.
Even get the logo on there. That's pretty impressive.
Something. So yeah, I agree. Great match, but definitely I think when the first half hour of the show, I don't know. I like when they open with quick things rather than having it go. I loved Heyman saying to Lawler that if he dies this time, we're not going to resuscitate you.
Yeah. So yeah, while the women were still in the ring, they came out to Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar came out to confront the announcers. Yeah.
And they were talking back to Lawler. That's when Dio Madden got into it and went through the announce desk, courtesy of Brock Lesnar. Ray came out, attacked him with a pipe, got the better of him. That's where it's believable, right, Matt? Like Ray, he's smaller, he's stealthy, he gets to jump on Brock.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then, man, this is the one I feel like really got lost in the shuffle. Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander had to follow all of this.
Oh, real quick, Ray cut a promo after this when they came back from the break. And I thought Ray's promo was fantastic. I thought this was one of Ray's best promos that he's done. He says, he wants an eye for an eye, and because Brock came after him, Brock came after his son. He's coming after Brock's title. He wants a match at Survivor Series. So there you go. That's going to be the WWE. I'm losing track. The WWE Championship match at Survivor Series.
Yep.
It'll be good. So Buddy versus Cedric.
Really quick, say what the finish was, please.
Buddy Murphy won with the Murphy's Law.
All right. I love this match. What I didn't like is another example of two guys that need the same push going against each other, where one has to lose, unfortunately. But I love both of these guys, so I was pretty stoked to see them work each other, I guess, in that regard, in a way. And again, this was that match that shows WWE is no longer stuck behind the times as far as work goes in the ring. You know what I mean by that? The athleticism and the originality, I would even say, that they're using. Something simple as Buddy missing a chop and then chopping the damn what do you call it? The ring post on the outside of the ring.
Oh yeah.
There's just so many. Then athleticism personified though in this match. I liked it.
What was the toughest segment you ever had to follow, Matt? When they said go out there and have a match, and you were like, really? After that?
Let me get back to you. Let me think about that.
Because that's where I felt this was at a disadvantage tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I just I couldn't get into it. I think part of it too, you knew Cedric was losing. You know how he's been booked. So when the finish is predictable, these guys busted their asses off. They're both ultra talented, but they've been burying Cedric since his AJ Styles feud. I wish they wouldn't be, but they have been.
I would say an AJ match or a Motor City Machine Gun match. I always hate have to go after them.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, it's tough, right? But someone has to. You have to do something.
Because none of the shit I'd be doing was halfway as exciting as the cool shit they be doing out there, right?
Oh, man. Speaking of a tough act to follow, Bobby Lashley had a sex injury tonight. We'll talk about that in great detail later on the show. But first, if you want to set up your own tough act to follow, guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Back when
Time out. I don't want to throw you off your flow, but how do you not start this off with, guys, don't you two want a sex injury? Well, here's how.
You got stretched before, man.
And because you're going to be putting in the work and putting in the wood, guess what, folks? Here's your chance to dislocate your you-know-what. You want a sex injury like Bobby Lashley? Here's how you do it.
Well, let me go even a step further with this is you take the Blue Chew and then you warm up. I'm talking stretches. I'm talking, you gotta get limber, right? That's how you avoid the sex. Matt, you know this. Back to gym class. What did they say? How do you avoid an injury? Properly stretch beforehand.
Yes.
That's the key. You can't be too stiff. Or can you? BlueChew.com. That's blue like the color blue. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. So you know this is the stuff that works. This is the science. None of that herbal crap. No, it's like this. No, well, you take it's mushrooms and it's in ancient Eastern cultures, this supposedly helps. No, this is science. Men in lab coats showed up, went to work. Women too. They showed up, they went to work. They wore their lab coat. They put stuff in droppers and beakers and test tubes. And they spent years doing formulas on whiteboards and those weird glass whiteboards, drawing out equations and formulas. And why did they do it? To help your junk go that extra mile, go that extra step. Are you gonna let them down by not taking advantage of this? With Blue Chew, it's the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know that this is the stuff that works, the stuff that makes it happen, and you can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they are chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever that opportunity arises, because you never know. Raj, you're married. Matt, you're married. Guys, some nights you think, tonight's the night it's happening. You say, baby, tonight, later tonight, mark my words. And then, something happens. There's some work, something with the kids. The cats are meowing.
7 days a week.
Tomorrow night, we're going to get it in. In fact, tomorrow night, we're going to go twice to make up for not doing it tonight. How do you like that math? Now with Blue Chew, that game you talk, you can follow through whenever that opportunity, whenever you got that window. You never know how long you got. You'd be like, hey, we got 15 minutes. Let's make it go. And you go, I can't perform on demand with Blue Chew. You are a machine. You chew this, bam, it's go time, anytime. And you've heard us be so awkward and real about this. You don't need to hear it again. We're all in very happy marriages. And I just want to say that Blue Chew, really, that's what deserves the credit here. And I hear about this from satisfied fans of the Wrestling Inc. podcast, people that DM me, people that came up to me at StarCast, women thanking me for turning their boyfriends, their husbands onto this. It's saving marriages. It's saving relationships. It's taking things to the next level. And, maybe you got problems. Maybe you haven't seen it in a while and you wondered where it went. Blue Chew will help you find it. Now, maybe it's working okay, but it could be that much better. So if you could benefit from that extra function, that extra confidence where it counts, Blue Chew is the fast and easy way to enhance your performance. You talk that good game. This is going to help you follow through. This is going to give you better follow through than you've ever had in your entire life. Blue Chew is prescribed online. It's shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so there's no in-person doctor's visit. They're going, hey, doc, I'm kind of having some issues, and you're just waiting for them to pick up on it. No. You go to the website. You fill out a form. No in-person's doctor's visit, no waiting in the pharmacy, and best of all, there's no more awkwardness. Oh, waiting in the pharmacy for this. You got to go up to the counter. You got to pay money. It's so weird with Blue Chew, all done online. So simple, and they're made in the USA. Patriotism, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships it direct, they are cheaper than a pharmacy, so you're saving money to boot. And right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com. Get your first shipment free when you use our special promo code WINC. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BLUE Chew.com. Promo code WINC to try it free. Blue Chew, the better, cheaper, faster choice. We thank them for sponsoring the podcast. And, I was going to say, your lady or partner will thank you. You're going to thank yourself. You're going to get one of these pouches. Comes with like 4 or 5 tablets in there. They do not skimp on the free samples there. Give it a try. Just pay $5 shipping with our special promo code WINC. And we thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
Very good. Glenn, did you tell them about the contest that you were hosting now? The fans? Okay, fans, if you didn't hear this earlier, Glenn is hosting a Twitter competition and contest for Blue Chew, where you are being encouraged to send your DPs to Glenn's DMs and prove that you're using Blue Chew. Hashtag DPs for Glenn.
Oh, boy.
You say that. At StarCast, one guy thought he was being really hilarious, and he was like, "Oh, here, let me show you something." And he like whips out his phone, and I'm just like, "Dude,
what? Oh my god!"
You know, as a brand ambassador, I suppose if you're a brand ambassador for Weight Watchers, people want to come up and show you all the pics when they were heavy. Here's all the pics with the weight I lost. I guess if you're an ambassador for Blue Chew, this just comes with the territory.
Oh,
that's crazy.
Yeah, you're spreading joy, and people want to spread that joy back in whatever strange form they think is effective. Anyhow, back to Raw tonight. Oh, I'm in my zone now. Seth Rollins came out, cut a promo. What is next for Seth Rollins? We're asking. He was even talking about how people were so happy to see The Fiend beat him at Crown Jewel after their match at Hell in a Cell. Triple H comes out. Figure from Seth's past comes out. Yeah, we got the NXT chance. He reminds him about his time in NXT. He reminds him how he made him champ. And says, what's it going to be now? Adam Cole comes out. They have this face-off. And then before you know it, he's joined by Roderick Strong, Fish and O'Reilly, the Undisputed Era. The NXT chants are going crazy. Gallows and Anderson come out with AJ Styles. People are getting into it. Next thing you know, Dominic Dijakovic, Damian Priest are there. Now, the strange part, I mean, if we really want to split hairs, like, why was the Undisputed Era running away from Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins?
Hated it. I didn't like them running from AJ even. I didn't like any of that part.
That was a bit much. But I like this segment. Raj, what do you think of it?
Yeah. I mean, it throws that angle in there of Seth going to NXT, Triple H, wanting him, wanting to recruit. I feel like Raw and SmackDown should have been doing this forever as far as trying to, having a GM. I'm sick of the heel GM, but just having someone that's trying to recruit talent from the other brand. So you make it seem like a real rivalry. And, they're doing this now for Survivor Series. I'm sure it'll be like the previous years where as soon as it's over, it'll all be dropped. But, I'm sure it will be, but this does create interest for the Wednesday NXT. It'll be interesting to see what Wednesday's NXT rating is. Like if it's influenced by this, I would guess it would be a little bit, but is it enough to beat AEW?
It depends what AEW puts out too, right?
Yeah. And AEW's been winning by a big amount every week since it started going head to head. But if they can really get Seth on NXT, it might not happen this week because of the European tour. But if you do it next or the week after, that might be a difference maker, and you advertise it ahead of time. But I liked it. I liked the tease. I thought Seth's promo before Triple H came out. They just can't script for this guy as a babyface. He just, he sounded whiny and fans were booing him. But once Triple H came out, I thought this segment was great. And, I agree. The Undisputed Era running from Ryder and Hawkins is one thing, but, they were outnumbered by that point by the time AJ and everyone came out. So I thought it was good.
I was actually really excited when I thought it was going to be AJ, Seth, Gallows, and Anderson versus the Undisputed Era 4-on-4.
Me too. I thought that was what we were going to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it looked like at first.
Yeah, man. So, with the exception of the running away part, I don't know. I think them setting up the main event tonight was fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. There's so much life they inject into the show by having anything with NXT involved.
Yeah. Highly recommend this. If you didn't watch the show tonight, go back, watch this segment. Then we had Andrade and Zelina Vega versus Sin Cara and Carolina, who Sin Cara teamed with last week. So, what's Carolina's story, Raj?
Well, her name is her name is Carolina. Vic Joseph keeps calling her Catalina.
Never a good sign.
He's not rolling the R and trying to be cool.
But even then, it'd be Carolina, not
Carolina.
He's saying Catalina, and that's what they called her the first night she appeared. But
what?
Yeah, that went a couple
name in 1 week.
Was that last week? Has it all just been a week? Yeah, it was last week when she debuted.
You predicted that they would have this tag team match, in fact.
Yeah, that's right. And they beat her on her first, in her first match.
Of course they did.
But that being said, I thought Zelina looked like an absolute star here.
She is.
Yeah. But, this is the third week in a row we've seen a variation of this with Sin Cara and Andrade. I don't think it's really helping Andrade too much, but it did help Zelina. She looked like a superstar.
What about Sin Cara? Do you think this did anything for him and make him seem semi-relevant again, right? No?
No, I don't think so. Did he to you?
I think that we haven't seen him in forever. So, to me, he's the dude I just have been assuming has been wrestling on those shows that I don't see.
Yeah. This is the third week in a row they've done Sin Cara getting beat in some form by these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is tough to make
Still has the coolest mask in wrestling, in my opinion. So.
Yeah.
Love his mask.
It's funny because on the other hand, I don't want Andrade. I don't think you should be beating Andrade either because he's the star. So move him along, have them wrestle someone else, and come back to the mixed tag down the road. In a couple weeks.
Yep. How come nobody catches this? Somebody has to be catching this when they have a Drew McIntyre, let's say, wrestling Bobby Lashley. They're both getting the same kind of push they both need at the time. And they have one have to beat the other. Why put yourselves in this corner to begin with? Why is nobody stepping in and go, well, wait a minute here. We're trying to do something a little bit more with Sin Cara. He just came back. We really can't have him lose. Well, Andrade's a stud. He's somebody we really got eyes on to be a major star in this company, so he damn sure can't lose. You know what? Maybe it's not such a great idea that they wrestle each other. Let's give Andrade a showcase match for somebody different tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the problem we see whenever they do the brand split is they repeat matches to death. And, we saw variation, again, Humberto Carrillo and AJ later. We just saw a lot of redundant stuff.
That's true.
Film.
Good point.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, they're really running this into the ground with Lana and Bobby Lashley coming out tonight. Rusev in the ring saying, hey, man, you want her, you can have her. That's my message for you, Bob Lashley, which, again, does not sound natural when he says that. Bobby came out on crutches with his sex injury. Lana was with him and says, I can't fight you because I done did too much of the sexing up your woman, your wife.
Did he say it like that?
No, but this is my paraphrasing of it.
That would be hilarious if he did.
I can't fight you because I done did too much of the sexing.
He was mumbling his words a lot here. There were a few things where it wasn't there.
Poor guy's probably incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah. Telling her real life husband that he's got a sex injury from her. It's got to be awkward.
This is one of those legit good guys that I tell you guys about, that are you see them do well. You're like, oh, that's a good guy. You really, you're happy for him. He's one of them. He's one of the good guys. So this makes him incredibly uncomfortable. I guarantee it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. But he says, I can't fight you, but I got Drew McIntyre here to whoop your ass. So have at it, guys.
And I think anyone who has watched wrestling for more than 2 months saw this coming, that Lashley wasn't really injured.
Ta-da! Yeah, right. Well, I'm sure we're shocked by it.
What's the end game on this? Okay,
I don't think they know. I'll be very frank. I don't think they know.
You know what?
What do you do with Lana? Seriously, what do you do? Does he go back to her? He's a punk if he does. right?
Ryback was talking on his podcast. He keeps in touch. He keeps in touch with Rusev, and Rusev is currently in contract negotiations with WWE. And I think it's a good point. I think Ryback he was saying that he thinks that this story is going to go depending on the way that Rusev's contract negotiations go. So if he re-signs, it'll probably end up with him coming out on top, maybe getting Lana back. Who knows? If he doesn't re-sign, he'll probably be humiliated at the end.
And get her back at this point. He will look like a punk. Are you kidding me? My wife did this to me. Game over.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. And on national television, I know we got to really suspend disbelief because it's a ridiculous storyline, but let's all pretend and put our suspension of disbelief hats on together collectively, and let's try this. What would you guys do at home watching the show right now if that was, your wife being in your... This is what's happening. She's sleeping with another man on national television, flaunting it in your face, helping this guy kick your ass, by the way, physically. If you go back to her, you are the world's biggest punk.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it where, Rusev beats Lashley, and then Lana's begging to get back together with him. He doesn't, and then down the road, you just,
yes to that.
After people have forgotten about it.
And there's the answer. Rusev now needs to seduce all 3 of Bobby Lashley's sisters.
I was hoping that would never get brought up again.
So Bobby was faking. He attacked Rusev during this match. Then Ricochet came out to make the save. So
it ended in a DQ. Tonight, you basically had 2 matches featuring, I don't know. I would say that meant something. The Kabuki Warriors, they never said the winner gets a title shot or anything. So this match, the main event, both ended in a DQ. So I thought that was pretty weak.
So I think this was the high point tonight. What's that?
You sure as hell couldn't lose.
Yeah, there was no other way to end it, right?
Yeah, so put Rusev in there with someone that can. I mean, you got a ton of guys in the...
You need to hire me just to perform that one job, WWE. Step in and say, well, wait a minute. We're getting one of these guys. We're supposed to get both of these guys over right now. They can't work each other. Put somebody else in here.
Hey, they like beating Humberto Carrillo. Just have him keep losing matches throughout the show.
Matt, if you said, I'm going to come back and I want you just to have me be the enhancement talent that all these young guys get to go over on, but your promos, you'd be like, I think I'm going to win this one. You would get massively over.
I'm 7 feet tall. It would never be believable. People don't have sympathy for a 7-foot person.
I don't know, man. So I thought this was the high point tonight. Becky Lynch interview backstage, talking about how Survivor Series is going to be NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler versus SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley versus Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch for a triple threat match at Survivor Series.
That is awesome.
Becky confronted by Shayna Baszler.
I like that.
Shayna was good tonight. I know we've given her a hard time on this podcast. I thought she was great.
She was good tonight, actually.
I don't know, man. It just looked like a world apart with Becky and Shayna here for me.
I want to know why, Raj. I thought the same thing actually, but I thought she did better tonight than she did Shayna. But what you're talking about is I did feel that too. My wife said the same thing actually, ironically. And we have so much built up. What's the word? Stock in Becky being this stud of studs, as far as we're concerned. To me, she's like the best superstar on either roster for the most part, I would say, more times than not, right? And so there's her, then there's Shayna Baszler coming up from NXT. You know what I mean? She's like eons ahead of her in every category possible.
Yeah, Shayna just seemed rehearsed and was trying. Becky was natural, and again, just came across as a much bigger star. And I really enjoy Shayna in NXT. I think she has improved greatly. I think she's busted her ass, but I just felt like there was a huge gap.
I liked her line, "You beat Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. I am not Ronda Rousey." Although it really has me wondering if, to protect all the women, if Ronda makes her surprise return at Survivor Series, and that's how you get out of this with none of the women having to lose.
He could beat Bayley.
Could, but with this heel turn, Matt, do you think that's too soon? Bayley had this heel turn. Now she's going to be in arguably the biggest match she's had in ages. And if she eats the pin,
as this new heel, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't I don't know. I honestly don't know. It seems like she'd have to be the one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I don't know. It's not like Bailey setting the world on fire. I felt like they waited too long on from when she turned heel to actually acting like a heel. They lost a ton of steam, and make Bailey look like a jobber champion. I wouldn't say a jobber champion, but she's just not. It just hasn't been that effective. So I totally see Bailey taking the pin.
Who do you think wins?
Becky.
Yeah. Man, I feel like that's why I think not having a winner or loser makes the most sense, because you have a chance to solidify Shayna a bit more. I don't know. I couldn't book this if I had to.
Having Shayna win would be humongous for her, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have some NXT stars win on this show. Otherwise, it buries the brand. So, where you do it, I don't think you do it here. Becky's their top star. I feel like she has really re-energized her character since this stuff with Seth this past summer.
Yeah, I agree.
So after that promo, we had the OC versus the Street Profits and Humberto Carrillo. And I said this on Twitter. I just need to show the tweet. Humberto out there in his cape next to the Street Profits. And in that cape, Humberto looked like a child that the Street Profits met while trick-or-treating on Halloween. He looked like a little kid.
Yeah, he looked like a PJ Mask. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
What are they doing with this guy?
He needs to get rid of that freaking cape.
They had him cut a promo on the ramp that just misfired. The Street Profits, Montez Ford is charismatic as hell. Angelo Dawkins, I feel like, has stepped it up. But I thought Dawkins wasn't his promo just
as good as Ben.
Yeah, it was just like a fart in church. The crowd just died. Yeah, someone's pointing out in the chat. This is where the crowd died. I agree. Like, they didn't care for Humberto Carrillo and the Street Profits. I think those promos took him out of this match. And they didn't hate him enough to cheer for the OC. So it was just quiet.
He's so good, though. I mean, he's good, and he was given these matches where he had a chance to show his stuff, but not winning. This is where
it hurts him. It does.
Yeah.
The fans would have had a chance of cheering if they'd seen 2 wins by this guy against AJ.
Yeah, he's already lost. Heading into this match, he'd lost his 3 main roster matches, between twice on Raw and then at Crown Jewel. And then not only does he lose here tonight, but he takes the pin.
But he teams with the Street Profits, who are super over and new talent still, and they're losing to the OC. All 3 of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
we have to add legitimacy to the OC, though, too. I don't know.
And shouldn't the OC, they had AJ Styles cut a promo before the match. I thought AJ was great. I think as a heel with the OC, he is so good on the mic right now. But I think they should let the OC, let Gallows and Anderson talk too. And they should be building up that they just won this, that best in the world tag team tournament. Yes. It was like such an afterthought on the show. And they just, they just won it the other night.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know, man. Very strange booking decision for some very over young talents that I think are being hampered greatly by the way they're being booked. The
Street Profits are over. Humberto hasn't been, and they keep making it worse.
His ring work was those first 2 matches when he was doing those twisty backwards jumps off the off the turnbuckle. Like, he was getting great reactions from the crowd. His moveset is unique. I don't know. I think
because he's new and he is exciting and he is athletic. Problem is, none of that matters if we know he's gonna lose. Why would I waste my energy cheering? I wouldn't as a fan. For what? It's a pretend cheer I'm gonna give him to pretend he hears my cheer and gets energy from my cheer and mounts this triumphant comeback to then lose. No, I'm good. I'm just gonna sit there on my hands for a minute and wish for this damn crap to be over.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to say, like, oh, but we protected him because AJ had to use his feet on the ropes. But no.
Matt,
that is Matt, explain Roberto, I bet.
How come you never did meta-level shit like this in the ring? I'm going to go out there, and you guys are going to boo me. Be like, ooh, big scary guy. And I'm going to act really angry. Oh, I'm mad. Like, dude, this is a gimmick. This is a gimmick everyone could get behind.
Yeah.
Just saying. After that, the
Anyway, Humberto's going to be in a Cedric Alexander territory in like
He's
2
already
months.
there.
I think
He's lost 3 in a row, right?
He's
there.
I keep thinking they're going to give him a win over AJ, and then
It's too late.
they probably will on TV, and then AJ ends kind of do the same Cedric thing.
Dude,
and then,
when you're out there, the Street Profits who are crazy over, I think they're over.
Yeah.
I honestly feel, I hate saying this about Humberto because I blame him. I blame him for them not getting the reaction they normally get because they've seen this guy lose twice and now the third time. I think he's already there.
I can see that.
This is where, I mean, okay, so with the Viking Raiders, they're giving the Viking Raiders these squash matches. It's like, why doesn't Ricochet get to go out there and just put on a clinic against some enhancement talent? Why isn't Humberto doing this?
I do not know. I don't have an answer for that.
Why is Kevin Owens not on this show? You know, like he's totally forgotten since this brand split.
He was out walking his dogs on Twitter tonight.
They'll have
or something
something for Kevin. He's not just being benched or something because he sucks or they don't think he's good or whatnot. They'll have something for him.
I hope so. Yeah. I thought before it was because he's one of the talents that refused to go to Super Crown Jewel. But
maybe can't do that anymore.
And now they're done.
They can't do that no more with social justice warriors out there. You can't do stuff like that no more. You can't bench somebody because they made something that they're affected by and they're standing up for. They'll eat a shit sandwich PR wise.
Well, I don't know what's going on with Jordan Miles and his cryptic tweets lately, making it seem like he's been let go.
No, I don't think he's been let go yet.
There's no way they can let him go.
Yeah. Anyhow, I mean, we'll talk about more about Crown Jewel and the fallout there. But the Viking Raiders against the East Hampton Polo Boys. So there they were on Long Island tonight. The Viking Raiders wrestling 2 MJF clones and squashing them in short order.
I know they're trying to give the job guys personality or whatever, trying to get them some heat from the crowd. But I think by making them look like jokes, like absolute jokes, it takes away the effectiveness of the squash. The whole point of the squash is to look dominant against other guys, but to have them just beat up guys that look like clowns, I felt like it did nothing. And I felt like there was no crowd heat. The crowd was dead. No one cared about the Viking Raiders wrestling these two guys.
Defeated the purpose they thought they were going to get from it. The creative thought they'd get some juice from it by saying, well, instead of just enhancement talents and jobbers, we're going to give them some sort of character.
Right.
We have some character. No, they look like 2 jobbers wearing bad stuff.
Yeah, they were dressed like the Mean Street Posse, and they were called the East Hampton Polo Boys.
Isn't that such heat? No, it's not.
No. And the crowd was dead. Like last week they did the Chicago Cubs. Yeah, anyway, I just thought it to your point, Matt, I thought it had the opposite effect of what they wanted.
Yeah, it's are the Viking Raiders over?
I don't know how to answer that.
I feel like 1 out of 4 weeks.
It's not, because I don't think they are, but then the next show they'll get friggin' pops, like good ones, like pretty decent sized ones. I'm like, what the? Why are people cheering for them? I don't get it.
Maybe it's a regional thing. Who knows? MJF tweeted, all I know is I went to sleepaway camp with one of the East Hampton Polo Boys, and I hope he's okay. I went to sleepaway camp with one of the East Hampton Polo Boys, and I hope he's okay. So, AJF's watching Raw.
They are kind of dressed like MJF.
Yes. Well, it makes sense because he's Long Island. They were in Long Island tonight. Then we have the NXT title match, the main event: Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole.
Real quick, they also did announce at the Survivor Series it's going to be the Viking Raiders versus the Undisputed Era versus the Revival. So Raw Tag Team Champs versus NXT Tag Team Champs versus SmackDown.
2 of those 3 are very intriguing.
Yeah.
One doesn't deserve to even go get their damn water for them. I'm being serious as far as entertainment goes.
Yeah, I thought. I mean, I like the Viking Raiders. But I agree with you. The promo that they cut before the match, where survival.
They're hokey.
Yeah,
they're in the wrong generation. The '80s call. They want their stick back. It's so corny.
It's not even late 80s. It's like early. It's the 90s new generation when you had.
Berserker. What do you mean? Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's 90s.
Berserker was in 80s?
No, that was 90s.
There you go. Freaking sweet horn hat. That's so stupid.
What did happen to the Ascension, Raj? Meltdown 142.
They descended.
Yeah.
Oh, someone wants to know, Matt, did you watch UFC 244?
Yes.
There you have it. Main event tonight, Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. And wouldn't you know it?
Real quick, back to the UFC. Do you think Rock Dwayne Johnson is nervous because Nate Diaz said he can get it in his post-fight conference?
No, if you did you see it? The press conference where Nate Diaz said it is clear that you could tell he's a Rock fan because he was even kind of like joking, like saying, "I like the Rock."
I can understand some of his words. Yes. That poor kid. They're still allowing that poor kid to fight. How's nobody see it? He's taking some serious damage, man. He can't put coherent sentences together.
He's always
not that he ever could.
I was gonna say, yeah. Back when I ran my MMA site, I've interviewed Nate Diaz a bunch of times, and transcribing what was said was always difficult. Yeah,
I don't think The Rock was worried.
No. The Rock looked like what a superstar he looked like out there when he came out, and the place was popping and going nuts. It was awesome. It was awesome.
So Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship, and wouldn't you know it, no winner, because NXT invaded, Undisputed Era interfered. Everybody came out of the locker. Actually, it didn't seem like everyone came out of the locker room. Seemed like a pretty empty locker room tonight, given the talent that came out.
Yeah, like Rowan, Ricochet, it's just some random guys. R-Truth, yeah. I know people, they really want to like everything with NXT, and that's great. But as far as invasion angles, this is not the NWO. This is,
and they're all wearing black T-shirts. Like, where's the red Raw shirts to where I can tell who's who? Right? It just looked like a cluster F of guys.
Yeah,
that's true.
You got to have these guys beat down some top guys if you want to make it seem like a real invasion. Not have Hawkins and Ryder out there. Respect to them; it's how they've been booked.
Yeah.
The crowd. I was surprised how dead the crowd was during this match. So it was a quiet crowd. I think and I don't think it's because of Cole or Rollins. I think their crowd was just bored by this point after the Viking Raiders and Humberto getting beaten again. Anyway,
tonight was good, but it was like a less exciting version of Friday. Like Friday was so much energy.
I liked the NXT stuff tonight. I really did.
Yeah, but it seems like, even as we're talking about, like there were long stretches where there were none of that.
Girls match was phenomenal.
Well, we'll see what happens Wednesday night. Raj, is everybody home from Saudi Arabia? Everyone's
home. Yeah, it's such a weird story. Let's get to that. We might as well get to that first.
It's the biggest story in all of wrestling.
It is the biggest story on all of wrestling. So, last Thursday after Crown Jewel, Vince McMahon left on his charter flight or on his private jet with his inner circle. A couple hours later, WWE talent were scheduled to go. They were on the plane for like 6 hours. They were told that there were some mechanical issues. And then finally, they were taken to a hotel. They stayed overnight. So basically 24 hours later before they got out of the country. So, WWE has this $1 billion deal with Saudi Arabia. So it's very odd that they couldn't get another chartered flight. Another weird thing was that WWE sent out a statement saying that some talent tried to charter their own flight and get out, and they took the initiative to try to get their own flight, but that didn't end up working out either. But basically, it seems like that part was true because all these talent were upset. Guys like Curtis Axel, Carl Anderson, several others, and they were using hashtag not top 20 or bottom 20. Do you remember what it was, Glenn?
No, but the idea that 20 of the top talents left around the time Vince did.
Yeah, trying to get out, and they were making comments about not having the money to charter their own flight, and that doesn't make them lazy.
Money to charter their own flight.
And that's what they're saying. I think they were really pissed off that WWE sent out this statement to make it seem like they were lazy, or like unmotivated and not wanting to get out.
What do you explain that then better? Because I didn't see it. Explain why that makes them look lazy for not chartering their own flight.
Because the way the statement was worded is that these other 20 talents or whatever were trying to find a way to get back to the U.S. so they could get to SmackDown and be a part of the show.
Right.
That's it. So these talents cared enough about SmackDown to try to get their own way back. I'll just read the actual statement.
Yeah,
Right. So the statement was, more than 175 superstars, production crew, and employees boarded a 747 charter flight back to the United States on Thursday. After the door closed due to several aircraft problems, including mechanical issues, all passengers sat on the tarmac for more than 6 hours. With SmackDown emanating live from Buffalo, New York, several superstars felt so strongly that they arranged for their own separate charter in order to make it back to the U.S. for the show. Due to unforeseen issues, that charter did not land until after the live broadcast on Fox. The remainder of WWE superstars, staff, and crew departed on a charter set to depart Saudi Arabia on Friday. Curtis Axel, he tweeted, "Not the top 20. I'm number one at home. We don't leave each other behind." Luke Harper wrote, "Larry, I'm home. I guess I didn't want enough to pay for my own charter, but I'm home now." And Carl Anderson saying, "Looking forward to see who the locker room leader is on Monday." So people upset. Tyson Kidd had a strong one. Let me find that one real quick. He wrote, all right, he might have deleted it. Oh no.
And some people did delete their tweets.
Yeah. It looks like he deleted it. But anyway, so a lot of people not happy. And a lot of people thinking that something else was up. Matt, how do you say it? Savanovic?
Yeah.
Former WWE Spanish commentator who had unfortunately tragically lost his wife last week. And so after that happened, a bunch of people were calling him, offering their condolences. One of them was a WWE executive. So he was talking to him about the Saudi Arabia deal. The executive told Hugo that what happened was that Vince McMahon was owed money from the Saudi Arabian government, and he pulled the live feed for Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. And then Crown Jewel actually was an hour delayed in Saudi Arabia. It didn't air.
Hour in front of us? Wait, what do you mean?
When it was supposed to air, it didn't air then. It aired at like almost an hour later. So it didn't start on time. And so according to Hugo, Crown Prince found out about that and pulled his power play of basically keeping the WWF talent hostage for a day.
Talent.
What?
WWF talent.
What do you mean?
You said WWF.
Oh, I did? Well, whatever.
Here's my question. If that was the case, why would they not just do it to Vince? He knows when Vince is leaving.
Because Vince hightailed it out of there.
Yeah, he hightailed it.
You don't think that the Prince wouldn't have known that Vince McMahon is chartering his flight out of there?
Well, I don't think he knew that he had caused the show to get delayed.
Wouldn't he?
Well, I don't think the WWE is the biggest. It's a big deal there, but I don't think he's got other stuff going on, so he probably wasn't told about it till later. Well, again, I don't even know if that's exactly what happened because Vince had sent the payment. So on last week's investors call, they noted, and this happened right before Crown Jewel that morning. They said that they had received a $60 million payment, basically that they were owed between September 30th and that call. So obviously that's a payment from Saudi Arabia for Super Showdown that took place in I believe it was July. It was June or July. So on the one hand, it doesn't make sense that Vince would pull the feed if they had received the payment unless he was still owed money. So anyway, it was a big mess. And a lot of talent felt like they were used as pawns in this tussle between Vince and the Crown Prince.
I'll be honest. I think this is a super boring story. If I'm being honest.
Really?
This is like the most
talked about. You guys said I heard. I know.
Yeah,
Well,
I think it's fascinating.
Imagine when you're one of the wrestlers that wasn't. I mean, you probably could have hitched ride with Brock.
It would suck, but I've been on tons of flights that were delayed multiple days. I got stuck in freaking Austria for 3 days.
I think
Austria.
I mean, was this? How was it described? They were taken care of, but some people described it as maybe feeling like a hostile environment that they couldn't leave.
Yeah. So WWE they've issued statements. They deny it completely. They said that the show airing later was a technical issue. It had nothing to do with any late payments, and they said that they insist that the flight was all due to mechanical issues. The airline issued a statement saying Atlas Air issued a statement saying that they apologized for the mechanical issues. WWE is apparently trying to get talent to record videos saying that it was due to mechanical issues, which that part is really strange.
That is strange. I agree.
And then today, on top of all that, WWE and Saudi Arabia announced that they have expanded their partnership through 2027, which is actually when it ended anyway, but that they're going to do 2 shows a year for sure. Before it was 1 guaranteed and maybe 1 more. Now it's 2 shows for sure.
Screw it. You're talking so much about it now. I have no choice. How is nobody calling this company out for this? I don't understand it. How is this accepted that they're wrestling? They're sending their superstars, and they're allowing this regime to look like they're trying to westernize their country when I would argue otherwise, and so would many others. This is a complete sham.
Yeah.
I mean, there has been a ton of backlash this week. So
why aren't they listening to it? I get they're getting paid a ton of money, but I'm very disappointed in them. I'm sorry, I am. I've done my best not to say anything about it, but you guys are talking about it.
Well, We've had talent, Buddy Murphy and others tweeting never again. They're not going back there. They're not dealing with this again. I mean, Meltzer, when he first broke this story, made it sound a lot more nefarious than it is. But I think that's the thing. I mean, look at what just happened with Deadspin. I don't know if you're following that story, Matt, but it's like there are sites that talk about the politics and talk about the business elements and take the WWE and hold them accountable. And they're the ones that are shutting down for the most part.
Yeah. It's a shame. Yeah.
Is Deadspin shutting down?
Everyone quit. Because all the writers got told, stick to sports.
Stick to sports, because that is what they're supposed to be writing about, though, to be fair, But
all their best stories, all their most trafficked, best journalism they're doing.
True.
Lots
of journalism. Lots of journalism.
Yes.
Ben Shapiro reference. You wouldn't know anything about that, Glenn.
I know who Ben Shapiro is. I have clients that advertise on his podcast. But look at what happened today with the stock. The WWE stock right now is like just over $50.
Yeah,
it's good.
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with this. It's been falling since the earnings report last Thursday. The stock is down. Gosh, I want to say. Let me double check that, but the stock is down a ton. Here, let me pull it up. As of earlier today, it was 19%. So I think it's even more than that. So in just a few days, it's dropped a ton.
Yeah. So we'll see. They're going to keep doing shows in Saudi Arabia. Did Saudi Arabia, are they all paid up? Are they square on their deal?
We don't know.
We don't know. Well, there you go. SmackDown ratings.
Yeah, the last thing SmackDown ratings were actually up this week. I think after last week's scary number on FS1, I think a lot of people expected to be down at least some this week. But not down from FS1, but down from Fox 2 weeks ago. So last week only did 888,000. This week did 2.52 million viewers. And so it actually beat the SmackDown on Fox number from 2 weeks ago, which was 2.418. So SmackDown's up. The first hour started big, second hour fell. So it wasn't necessarily the NXT stuff. It was probably Brock in the first hour, probably some curiosity about Bray winning the title and crown jewel, but they didn't lose that many viewers from hour 1 to hour 2.
How was Bray not in the top 20 talents they got out of there?
He might have been.
Well, but he closed the show. Maybe that's because he wasn't. Well, I don't know. He wasn't at SmackDown, but Brock was. But Brock left on his own plane.
Yeah. Brock had his own chartered flight. Hogan, Flair, they all had their own flights.
Gotcha.
So I would guess Roman, Bray, they were a big part of SmackDown. So I would guess they were 2 of those talents.
Well, there you have it. Wednesday night, we're going to be back here to talk about AEW versus NXT. Will Raw and SmackDown retaliate? This could be the week. NXT could go over AEW this week. We'll see. Matt Morgan, you've got nothing to plug. At BP Matt Morgan. On Twitter, on Instagram, he's at Raj Giri _303. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein on Twitter. We will catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.